Hi guys! Another week has passed and Russia didn't attack Ukraine. It's been like this for the last 8 years. But this week, according to all intelligence services, Putin is finally ready. If you still believe Biden, CNN and New York Times, here are some of the recent developments which might change your mind. The major one is that NATO sent an official refusal to the Russia's ultimatum, clearly telling that there will be zero concessions. Putin, instead of starting the war with all that 120,000 troops at the border and capturing Kyiv within 48 hours from 3 different locations as fake news promised to us, decided to do nothing over the weekend. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov said that although he is not satisfied with the NATO response, there is another reply from US government about security cooperation, which has a very positive dynamics and there is a progress in diplomacy. If you forget what was the ultimatum about, let me remind you. Putin wanted NATO to shrink back to the borders of 1997 and pretty much removed all the troops from the Eastern Europe. And additionally to make a written statement that Ukraine will never be accepted into NATO. The explanation of this weird demand is that apparently during the 80s, when Soviet leader Gorbachev wanted to unite West and East Germany, one of the promises that was given to Gorbachev that NATO will not be expanded any further to the east. And since 1997, NATO clearly expanded and basically surrounded Russia. The problem with this promise is that it was given to Gorbachev orally, and it's not really clear who actually did it. The whole story looks like a political Me Too. Russia has zero evidence that something like this happened, and for the last 23 years there were no complaints. But now suddenly it's time to become a victim of the rape. The second part of the demand of not taking Ukraine to NATO is kind of weird because nobody was proposing to take Ukraine to NATO, and NATO has a very clear policy of not taking any country with any active conflicts. It's like, imagine Greta Thunberg would ask United States to stop using all the fossil fuel from tomorrow. And also she asked, please not to raise any taxes for electric cars. Biden would probably reject the first one, but the second one, sure, no one was proposing to raise any taxes to electric cars anyway. If that would be a case, Greta could have claimed that she is a world politician with a huge impact. The same expectation was from Putin and Ukraine, but NATO was smarter and said no, Ukraine possibly could join NATO in the future. It should be really humiliating and embarrassing for Russia, and it can provide a perfect casus belli, but nothing is going on. What's even more odd, Lavrov gave a press conference to Russian media last Friday, and all these propagandists who were fueling the war on the Russian TV asked him, where will we finally attack? Why are we so weak with our response? Isn't it embarrassing? And Lavrov's answer was like, Russia doesn't want any war with Ukraine. Are you all crazy? Attacking Ukraine, our brothers, are you insane? He also said that after the meeting with Blinken in Geneva last week, US Secretary of the State asked Lavrov to notify him privately before the beginning of the operation against Ukraine because there are so many American citizens over there. And Lavrov basically told this story to make fun of US because how crazy they are thinking that there's gonna be an actual war. And indeed, if you strictly follow the facts, the West went into the Russian trap. No one in Russia has ever officially said that they're about to attack Ukraine. Sure, you have some crazy guys on Russian TV, but these are not officials. 120,000 troops at the border, well, actually they are not at the border, they're like 150 kilometers away from it, and Russia made the movements of forces in the most open way possible. Like, here is the video from Instagram from someone I personally know, and you can see that there are a bunch of different tanks passing the local train station in Russia. The only purpose of this is that people can post it on social media immediately. All these leaks to Western intelligence about Russian secret plans on how to attack Ukraine are just a joke, because the actual secret plan has never been leaked in case of Georgia or Crimea. These are the two successful military operations of Russia. Last Saturday we got another masterpiece from Western intelligence. Basically, Russia moved blood supply to the border to treat the wounded soldiers because the attack is imminent. I'm curious what media are gonna tell us in 45 days when this blood will be expired. Another ridiculous leak of the week is that Russia had a list of the members of new Ukrainian puppet state which will be installed very soon. They selected the most inappropriate people to make this list look as fake as possible, but nonetheless, media ate this shit. The US equivalent of that list would be if the intelligence tell us that Trump is about to make a coup and install Condoleezza Rice as a president and Dick Cheney as a vice president. It's clearly a joke, and Russia tested how far she can go with these fakes. President Biden, with all his dementia, read that crap and called to the Ukrainian President Zelensky, telling him that Russia is about to invade like next second. And Zelensky told him, "Calm down, old man, and stop creating hysteria." That tells you a lot how the West is clearly lacking the understanding of the whole situation. Zelensky is like, we really like NATO and United States support, but Russia is not about to attack. Due to that hysteria, some of the Western nations decided to reduce their personnel in the embassy. Lufthansa and KLM are no longer allowing its crew members to stay overnight in Kiev, meaning that all the morning flights are cancelled. Ukrainian currency is going down, so no wonder why Zelensky is pissed off and asked the West to calm down. And as I've mentioned in my previous video, Biden is actively playing in this ugly performance. His rating is extremely low and he needs to save the world on daily basis to keep it higher than zero. Now, US Senate decided maybe it's time for American military complex to earn some money, so they are proposing a bill for additional $500 million per year of military aid to Ukraine. I'm not sure US experts would be happy if they realize that the whole war is fake. So, what is the real motivation of Putin? I think he really wanted to test the water. Biden miserably failed in Afghanistan, backtracked from Iran. So Putin asked himself, why can't I do the same? But Biden decided to play this game, fueling the bubble of imminent Russian attack, and now most of the NATO members say that they will support Ukraine and they're actually sending a bunch of new ammunitions. Of course, you have some countries like Germany who decided to send only a bunch of different helmets. You have Croatia who said that they will never ever participate in any kind of war, which can be another motivation of Putin just to bring the divide within the NATO. Anyway, Putin doesn't like real wars, and he will never ever start any open war with Ukraine. There are zero political benefits for him, and I actually made another video about the origins of the conflicts and why it's different from 2014 and Crimea case. Let's see what's gonna happen in the upcoming week. Probably just more of propaganda. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!